Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. Shout out to Joy. She's digging the music. Hopefully, I can keep pleasing you, girl, with the musical choices and put something else on coming up in our next break that you'll appreciate. Ain't no half stepping. Marcus J. live from the Den. Legacy Internet Radio. We are introducing the newest addition to Legacy Internet Radio. The Aaron Turner Show is our biggest announcement to date that we've had. February 28th. Or Saturday from 5 to 7, joining us here live from the Den every single Saturday on Legacy Internet Radio. If you want to be a part of tonight's discussion, feel free to hit us up on social media. Give us a call, 804-402-2893 to be part of the discussion. At this time, we're going to move on and kind of get into just some discussions. You'll kind of get an idea of how the amazing mind of Aaron Turner works and some of the opinions that he may have. Yeah, I'm very flattered. I'm giddy to see him, man.
So are we gonna just let that go?
Man. I did this for you.
I just hope I can just please your girl. We're not gonna get into that.
I did this for you too.
If this was the pregame, that would have never flew. Like we would have been going there for 10 minutes on you saying, I hope I continue to get to please your girl. Like nobody, we gonna just all right. This your show. I'm just gonna.
Lord, you messing with me. Ain't no half step on Marcus J. All right, Aaron Turner, Black History Month. Let's talk about Black History Month.
Okay. Black History Month is something that I think I said it last week, is like a lost art in our society. And, I remember many moons ago, when I was a kid, that, you had the little paragraph. I said this last week, something similar to last week. You had the paragraph of Martin Luther King. He was a preacher from Atlanta. He did I Have a Dream speech and everything all good in the land. Right. That was a paragraph we got in school.
Right.
I didn't know anything about Malcolm X until I got older and read it for myself.
Right.
So I say all that to say this: read and research your history, because the thing is, more and more as these generations are going, it's like it's nothing now. I mean, we don't have any type of history, not educating our kids, and the more and more that we are doing with our kids, that's the more and more that they don't learn. And now jumpstart to 2015. Selma just came out, so the kids know a little bit about Martin.
Have y'all seen that movie?
I saw it. It was a wonderful movie.
I can't wait to talk about that.
Wonderful movie, wonderful movie, and oh man, if you talk about that, man, I can just go on forever.
Because here's it. Because I think I know where you're going with this. There's a huge disconnect now. Like I was, and I'm gonna tell you this on our show, the pregame. We talked about something nobody on the show had seen it, and I hadn't seen it until actually this past week.
Okay.
Selma, and when I tell you I've seen all the other Martin Luther King, because of course my mother, 60-some years old, of course she wants me to see all the Black Panther stuff, but anything pro-black,
fight the power.
It's mandatory. Like Roots, you had to watch Roots.
Yeah.
All those movies you had to do that.
Right? Yeah, you had to do that.
But me being my own man Selma, I was kind of like, I don't know if I'm gonna see that. I know the Martin Luther King story. You know what I mean? But when I tell you that I'm so glad I watched that movie, that the perspective that they gave on that whole thing, it just seems so calculated by Martin. You know what I mean?
Right.
I've never seen a story told that way.
Right.
I'm so impressed.
Yeah, and see, I like the word you use, with the calculation, and I've said this in recent times, we're I applaud our efforts, what we're doing now with the Black Lives Matter, and all of this, the things going on is wonderful that we are doing this, but this is where the disconnect with the young people today, and I sound like an old man. I'm 44, but I'm sounding like an old man because the disconnect is, if you looked at, we talking about the Selma, the civil rights movement. These guys, Martin and Abernathy, Thurgood Marshall, they was fighting a fight on all levels. They weren't just marching.
Right.
They was marching. Thurgood and even the Richmond native, Oliver Hill, they was in the courtrooms. We was on all levels. And then in the Selma movie, they showed Martin going to the president, Johnson, and he chopped up with Kennedy a lot, with the civil rights, acts and, different things like that. Mm-hmm. The disconnect now is that, for the most part, we're just out there in the street marching. almost just like lost. And, I say all that to say this, we got to change laws. It's good you out there marching, but what okay, what's after that? I've done this on, I've talked about this on my show as well. We recently, like I say, the Black Lives Matter movement.
Right.
We're talking about a couple of years ago, Trayvon Martin, Mike Brown. Okay, February 9th, 2015. Where have we gone from that?
Absolutely.
Trayvon Martin. I'm gonna let you start. Trayvon Martin. The stand your ground law is still in Florida. We haven't done anything. Mike Brown, what are we doing but just marching and having T-shirts or hashtag rioting there with Mike Brown, the hashtag T-shirts Black Lives Matter. What are we doing? I say all this once again to say this. Trayvon Martin, a couple of years removed, and we still got the stand your ground law in Florida.
Let me tell you why. This is generation, my generation. I guess I don't know if I'm too old to still say my generation. I'm 28. Can I still call it my generation?
It's your generation.
Your generation.
Your generation.
My generation.
You and your damn Y friends.
We're back.
We X.
Yeah, we're X. Yeah, we're X.
So my generation, right? We're that microwave generation. Everything is quick. It's about what's right now and what's trending. The marches and things. A lot of people, man, it was about because that was what was hot. That's what everybody's doing. So you want to be a part of that. You know what I mean? It was similar to if you look at people who when the whole, and myself included, I'm guilty of this. When Obama ran for president, I voted for him because I didn't want to not be a part of that. You know what I mean?
Right.
It was the first black president. It was what was high. It was what trended. So I'm guilty of it as well. But that's what the issue is now. Is that it's what was hot to do was go to be in New York and lay down on the ground and throw up a sign and say Black Lives Matter. Because see, that's easy. That's right now. Whereas to try to change a law means I got to go to council meetings. I got to do this. That sounds like work. It's too much like work.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's because that's the same argument you're making is the one that I've made in our circle in the pregame. We talk about things like that.
Right.
And my argument is that I'm okay with us doing that. You know what I mean? But is like you said, what's the result? At the end of the day, what's our purpose? If our purpose is to bring about change, this ain't gonna get that done. And my argument was funny enough as my argument was made before I saw Selma, right? So in my mind, I'm like, we talked about the Nat Turner. Remember Nat Turner days, right?
Right.
The way he went about trying to bring about change, he couldn't go and vote. You know what I mean? He couldn't go and step on City Hall and say, listen, I demand X, Y, and Z. He couldn't do that. Then him marching would have done nothing. He had to respond in his day and age a way that he felt was gonna bring about a reaction, right? And that was to be violent. Now, fast forward to 2015, that's not the call anymore, I agree. Because now Martin Luther King has showed you you can bring about change by marching. And what I was unaware of until some was that I didn't know how involved he was in the politics. I didn't know how calculated he was. And that's what we have to do, because the rights and things that we have now, we have the right to vote, the right to affect laws, like you said, to affect bills. These things, we have to take advantage of that, man.
Right. And my thing is, if we use all that energy, and a lot of stuff were changed, through young people, and the sit-ins and the marches, they were young, college age. That's the energy. Your generation is the energy, but what's going on now is the disconnect, and that goes from the education, and that goes back to what we was talking about, Black History Month. Right. As a whole, your generation, and they do not know any type of Black history. If it's not on the internet, they don't know it.
True.
And like you said, if it's not trending, they don't know it.
Absolutely.
And then it's I mean, my God, you can Google stuff now. You don't have to pick up
everything
a book.
that you need to know or want to know is at your fingertips. And not only
information era,
not even on your computer, but it's actually on your cell phone, and in front of you. I just got a note from an anonymous listener, someone that's listening right now, and it made me feel proud. Because they talked about how, they were dealing with someone, or they were talking with someone who had mentioned that Black History Month is the shortest month of the year, and why is it a big deal? And we talked about this, Aaron, when you were here with us last week as a guest. Now you're home. Aaron Turner Show every Saturday, February 28th, debut 5 to 7.
Yep.
Needless plug. But seriously, this person felt confident and happy to have listened to us when we explained how Black History Month was created. It was created as a week. You know, it was created as a week by Carter G. Woodson in the early 1926 to be exact. And it was a week to coincide with the birthdays of Abraham Lincoln, who freed the slaves, and Frederick Douglass, who was an abolitionist.
And it actually was Negro Week.
Negro Week. Exactly.
Yeah,
Negro Week is what it was called until the college students, and you mentioned a minute ago, it's the youth, that's the energy.
That's the energy.
That decided that they wanted to work towards expanding it, and it was in the early 70s, I believe 70, 71, somewhere in that range, where they petitioned the United States government, and actually it was in 76, I believe, and somebody correct my facts, but right around that time when Gerald Ford actually signed Black History Month, they expanded the week into a month. Right. And so had Abraham Lincoln been born in a 31-day month, then it wouldn't be the shortest month.
Right.
So everybody who says that, if you're listening to us now, if you hear people say that, check them on it. You ain't got to be disrespectful on it, but check them on it, because you know the colossal ignorance that you have when you say out loud, why do we care? It's only the shortest month. You you don't realize how stupid you sound when you say that, because you don't know, but
you got to read.
You got to pay attention, and you got to do the research. You got to do the knowledge for yourself, because no longer is it appropriate for you to not have information when we live in what you just called the information age.
Right.
And you shouldn't be speaking on something that you don't know nothing about.
Right.
Find out. Right. Because it's there for you. Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. Live from the Den, Legacy Internet Radio. I wanted to make sure that we got some discussion in on Black History Month, because it's imperative that we know our history. And pretty much every single day and month is Black History Day, Black History Week, Black History Month, whether it's February or January or any other month in the year, because we know that nothing happened in this country without our fingerprints on it. Yes. You know, and we built this country on our backs throughout the slavery age, and even before that, because we was here before we was here as slaves. There's history with regards to that, and certainly, a lot of the models that we set forth and a lot of the inventions that we created are things that we utilize to this day. Things like the refrigerator and the ironing board and the trolley cars and the internet. A black man created and the internet. I mean, think about that. You're listening to us right now on the internet. It was a brother who created it. So these are the things that our children, our youth need to be aware of. And I appreciate Jay Wash being here and sharing that perspective from, a little bit of a younger generation from us, because the truth of the matter is we can't do this without them. And they can't do it without us. They can be the energy, we can be the wisdom, and together we can progress and do this here thing together. As you guys were talking about Selma, it's very interesting. A lot of that history, is not history that people pay much attention to. We get so caught up in the I Have a Dream and all that kind of stuff, but I Have a Dream was 2 years before the events of Selma. And he died 3 years later. It's a period of time that was captured in that movie was only 3 months, but it was a very powerful 3 months, and you can debate on what Lyndon B. Johnson's true motives were, but at the end of the day, he signed it. And here's a piece that a lot of folks don't know, Aaron. We still gotta go back to the polls and try to see if we can get our right to vote every couple.
It was on for a short time.
Yeah, man. So these are things that we all need to be aware of and pay attention. And it's not okay to celebrate Black History Month only in February. Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. Live from the Den, Legacy Internet Radio. 804-402-2893 is the number to dial to be a part of the discussion. We're gonna move on and transition to some interesting discussions. I like to call that interesting discussions. What the hell? Before I do that, I want to go ahead and introduce another participant to the discussion, joining us for her monthly spot every second Monday of the month, right here live from the Den of Legacy Internet Radio. Our sister, Miss Tony's in the building. What's up, girl?
What's up?
Not
What
too
up?
much. How y'all doing?
We doing all
Good.
right.
How you doing?
Doing fabulous. We got fabulosity all about the room. We got three the shows. 3 strong brothers in the room and some strong sisters here with us. So I'm definitely happy, honored to look around the table and see all of these smiling and intelligent faces as we progress through our discussion here of the night. Ain't no half Steppin Marcus J. 804-402-2893. Y'all ready to ask what the hell?
Yes.
All right, Nikki, I want you in on this one first. All right. What the hell is wrong with Kanye West?
Look,
what the hell is wrong with Kanye West, Nikki?
Look, I'm not mad at Kanye right now.
God, I need you to be mad.
Because I don't know who Beck is either.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, it does matter.
It doesn't.
Who is Beck? That's what we need to know.
It doesn't matter.
I needed to hear his stuff for at least a year before I decided he deserved that award.
I don't know nothing about no Sam Smith either, but he won the Grammy. Let him
But
be.
I knew him because I knew Murray.
All right.
And Murray know Sam.
Let us set it up. Let's set it up.
You see what I'm saying?
Let's
Beck ain't got no. It's a friend of a friend.
Let's
Kanye, this Beck dude ain't got no friend.
Let's set it up. I'm gonna set it up, Nick. For those folks who don't know what the hell we talking about, we asking what the hell is wrong with Kanye West. Reason why is because he has reprised his infamous stunt last night at the Grammys, taking the Staples Center stage by storm once again. Many of us remember a couple years ago when Taylor Swift won whatever award. I don't know if it was the Grammys, but whatever it was, she won. Yeah. You know, he ran up to the stage on her as she was giving her speech and scared the hell out the little skinny white girl. And, you know, poor thing, you know, because she looked like she was about to get mugged in front of everybody. You know, but he said, you know, excuse me, I'm going to let you talk. But Beyonce had the best record of the year. Everybody remembers that. Well, he did it again last night. The only difference was he ran up on the stage, he looked it back, and then he turned around and he walked away. And he ended up giving that speech in an interview later on that night. So he went through the whole Beyonce was great. I can't believe this person just won. And there was some quotes that I'm efforting to locate here. Basically, because you keep diminishing the art and not respecting the craft and smacking people in the face after they deliver monumental feats of music, you're disrespecting the institution. And we as musicians have to inspire people to go to work every day and they listen to that Beyonce album and they feel it takes them to another place. Nick, I'm gonna let you jump back in here. I got some feelings about that, but I want yours first. What you got?
Well, I still stand by my statement. Now, I'm not a huge Beyonce fan because I like old Beyonce. This new Beyonce, I don't know. I don't understand it. You know, maybe it's because I'm old now because I've reached that 40-year-old range. Maybe, you know, it's kind of like, you know, I don't see the twinkling, you know, the stars anymore. You know, I don't know. Maybe I'm officially an adult, so I don't get it. But at the same time, I still need to know who Beck is. So, and I have a question. I know you asked me a question, but I have a question. Now, what Kanye did, is that mean, did he curve him? Or was it just shade? Like, I hear kids say curve. Like, he curved
I
them.
have no idea what that means.
You got me with that one.
I want to make sure before I tweet
for
something about
our young listeners, can you please
Google
let
that.
us know what
I don't know about the
means?
curve.
Does that
I know
mean he
shave.
curved him?
I know shave. I don't know that
I
curve.
think he threw shade.
Throwing shade means he was kind of dissing them, right?
Yeah.
Dissed him.
That's shade. Yeah,
but I need to know, is this officially a curve?
Okay.
I know it's some shade up in there somewhere, and it's not on fleek because I figured out what fleek was.
Yeah.
He's on fleek.
It's not on fleek.
Joy said that he's touched. He ain't been right since he lost his mom. And I think there may be some truth to that. Tony, I don't know if you saw what Kanye did, but if you didn't, now with the setup, Tony, Kanye went up on the stage and disrespected another person winning an award on a live show. What do you think?
He's wrong for that. Again, I think he was wrong the first time, but you know, he is one who doesn't really have boundaries. So I don't know why anybody's really surprised. I don't necessarily think that Beck should have won, but I absolutely don't believe Beyonce should have won. So, yeah, I'm not a huge fan. I didn't watch the Grammys. I don't know. I think I've reached a point in my life about 5 years ago where award shows are they're just all whack to me. I can't watch them. I did watch Beyonce's performance, of Precious Lord. Why didn't they have Ledisi sing it? Because she tore it up on the movie. Why did they have Beyonce sing it? And it was terrible.
Because Beyonce is Beyonce and Ledisi is Ledisi. And I say that with no disrespect to Ledisi, but I think we understand the point that I'm making when I say that without actually saying it.
Right, and Ledisi was very graceful in her response when she was interviewed as to why she thought, or how she felt about Beyonce singing the song versus her. And I love the way she put it. She said, I had a role as Mahalia Jackson in a part of history. So I don't give it to him.
Aaron, what you think about this, man? Kanye wilding out.
Well, Kanye is an idiot. That's all I can say.
A damn fool.
Kanye is an idiot.
But I love it. He's funny.
Yeah, I mean, it's see someone's an idiot is comical. And it's one. He's one of them guys. He's that crazy cousin. He's that crazy uncle that everybody has.
With the tight checkerboard bell bottom.
Yeah,
the platform shoes.
Or that Uncle Joe who lives in the basement for all your life, and your mama, your grandma tell him don't go down there 'cause Uncle Joe gonna get you or whatever. That's Kanye.
That's Kanye.
Everybody got a Kanye in their family.
I got a Kanye. His name is Uncle Barrett, and I love my Uncle Barrett.
I might be the Kanye of my family, actually. Now think about it. I hope I'm not the Kanye. I think I might be the Kanye.
I had a
of
couple
my family.
Kanye's in my family.
I think I might be. Jay Wash, what you think, man?
You know what? See, I was sitting here and I was so disappointed in you guys for feeling the way you felt. But I will say I didn't know about what happened backstage or the interview. But this is what I know. From what I understood, he did it jokingly. Like his girl, Kim K, Kim Kardashian, John Legend, and John Legend's wife was sitting there and they all had a laugh about it, and they showed the face of Jay-Z and Beyonce, like, oh no, he did it, and I felt like he did it to be funny. I think it's something we've always talked about. It's going to be a moment that will live on forever, and I think that for me, it was I didn't take it. I took it as a ha moment, like, oh, okay, all right, yo, he almost Kanye'd him, Kanye almost Kanye'd him. But then but when you add on the significance of what happened backstage, I still feel like, we know who Kanye is, right? And Kanye knows that, and Kanye know what people expect of him. Right. So I think that when he went to the stage, he knew what they was expecting to happen. He did that because I'm sure people probably say little things like, listen, Kanye, things may not go your way this week with the award to, can we not have a Taylor Swift moment? You know what I mean? I'm sure.
Right. But here's where that argument is lost on me. And anybody who and I'm not saying you're defending them, but anybody who does not come right out and denounce what he does, here's where I have a problem with you. You can have all kinds of problems with the process and the awards and how it works. I think most of us do. I mean, these kind of problems going on since 1988 when they didn't have Grammys, and Will Smith, people we knew him as Fresh Prince back then, led the charge. People forget this. He's the one that led the charge of boycotting the Grammys. Sure everybody fell behind him. That's how you do that. Right. You don't go and be disrespectful to an innocent party who played by the rules, even though the rules apparently are not fair. Taylor Swift ain't do nothing wrong to him.
Yeah, he was completely wrong for that one.
Beck ain't do nothing wrong to him. So for him to ruin their moment because of his own arrogance and his own issue, I just got a problem with that. And especially when you consider, as you mentioned, his history of being the one who has to be the rebel. We get all that. I got some rebel in me too. Right. But I'm never going to be disrespectful to somebody, especially in their moment. These people got dressed up. They got people to come. They got them tickets, and they got them watching on television, and all of these things. They worked hard all year, and forget about the process of getting the award. Forget that for a second. At the end of the day, anybody who puts out a record that's even considered for a Grammy, you got to figure that they worked hard.
Oh yeah, definitely.
They worked hard. And so for you, because you got an attitude and don't like the process, to ruin that person's moment, you're out of control for doing that.
And see, my thing is, I don't feel like his moment was ruined. I felt like Kanye was trying to be funny. I didn't feel like he was going to have a full Taylor.
Yeah,
I think
but
he did a joke like,
you might think that. You think that. Yeah, you think that.
I think now we're all talking about Beck, aren't we? I mean,
but if you add
Taylor Swift effect,
Taylor Swift blew up after that.
So I mean, he just did him another favor.
But look,
thank you,
this
Kanye.
is what I'm going to say about this. First of all of it is just a sham. They already know who they're going to pick as the winner, and Beck has chosen to walk through those doors, and I'm not gonna get too deep on that because I think that's a whole nother topic and a whole nother show. Yes, absolutely. And we've talked about that on the Aaron Turner show plenty of times.
And we got more to talk about.
So when Kanye does stuff like this, I just chalk it up to funny ratchetness, ghetto behavior, and I'm going to laugh because I know what's really going on in this world.
It's an
and
entertainer.
I know what's really going on in the music industry, and I also understand what's going to happen with Beck now. Beck has now accepted the calling. Trust and believe. We're going to hear more from him. He's about to blow up like you've never believed. I've seen people right now on social media talking about how good his music is. We ain't heard from him or even knew who a Beck was for a whole year. Yeah. So do I think he embarrassed her or blew up? No. Taylor Swift knew that was going to happen. Beck knew that was going to happen.
Yeah, I disagree with that.
So
I mean,
we'll have
to.
Absolutely. Like I said, but I'm not going to get too deep in that because that'll take up the whole show. Right. That's just for another show.
I could dig that
another time. But that's how I feel.
I think at one point we will need to revisit
that. I laugh.
Yeah, we might want to at one point revisit that. I think it's consistent with his public arrogance for him to do something like that. And whether it's staged, I mean, if it's staged, then, everything that I said, you can put an asterisk by it. I don't think it was staged. And the fact that I don't think that it was staged allows me to kind of stick with what I said with regards to it. I respect what you're saying, Nikki. I just disagree with you.
I think it's typical Kanye behavior.
I think it's typical behavior. And under the assumption, if we are to assume that it's not staged,
right,
I think that it's outrageous that anybody would do that to somebody else.
He's an arrogant, egotistical narcissist. I believe that.
I agree.
There's no doubt about that. So I'm not absolving him of his responsibility in this. Right. I just don't think. I feel like we as the spectators, we seem to put way too much weight on what took place. Like I don't think it was that big of a deal. I think it was a funny moment that will forever live on, but it'll never be taken as serious as a Taylor Swift moment. But now in an interview backstage, someone put a mic in front of his face and asked him his opinion. Yeah, you know what I mean? And that's a totally different situation because he's entitled to his opinion. You know what I mean? Like even if no one else agrees with him, the fact that somebody came to him and wanted his opinion on what happened.
Well, they came to him because he went on the stage and didn't say anything, and he went on the stage, because for whatever reason he felt compelled to do it and chose not to say anything. And I think that him doing that, agree or disagree, but I think him doing that was a direct play off of his original movement with regards to Taylor Swift, because when you see him go up on the stage, you expect him to grab the mic and say something, but when he doesn't say anything, it's almost like psych. I'm good. Right. Psych for us older folks. Right. Young folks may not remember psych. Yeah. Psych means I'm just playing.
Yeah. But see, I would love for Kanye to run up on the wrong one, like a Ice Cube or Wu-Tang Clan.
He won't.
No, he won't. And really get beat down.
That's what I was thinking. He knows who to do that.
Right. I mean, he wouldn't run on stage with Wu-Tang Clan or something and say, I don't think they deserve this.
Yeah, but Wu-Tang for the kids, though.
Right.
Man, Wu-Tang's so deep.
Did I just take it back? 1994 or whatever that was. 90 something. But the truth of the matter is, tough guys know where to be tough guys and when to stand down. And I'm not going to question his manhood. It's not my place to do that. But I will say that I saw a live interview on the air with Sway in the morning when he had an opportunity to puff that chest out, and when Sway said, "Look, man, I know you, and we can have this conversation off the air outside right now if you want to." Whoa. And and I'm paraphrasing for those folks who actually saw it. Don't call up here and say, "Oh, Marcus, you made up." That's paraphrasing. But he made it very, very clear. Sway did that those antics ain't gonna fly here, and Kanye realized it, and he stood down.
Yeah.
And so, like you guys are alluding to, he knows who to try that mess with. Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. Transitioning, keeping it moving away from Kanye, on to another story. Aaron, you up first on this one?
Okay.
Everybody has the station that they choose to watch for the news. Some folks like CBS. I'm a CBS guy. Some folks like Cartoon News Network. I mean CNN. Some folks like FAUX News, MSNBC, things of that sort. And a lot of folks at 6:30 every single weeknight tuning in to the NBC nightly news to watch their anchor Brian Williams deliver the day's news.
Right.
Well, there has been a black mark, self-inflicted, placed upon Brian Williams of NBC News because of the revelations that the NBC anchor has lied on the air about being in a helicopter that was forced down after it was hit by enemy fire during the Iraq War. It's hard to see how he gets past this.
Right.
Me personally, he's canceling social media, not social media, I'm sorry, social appearances. I think he canceled Letterman, and he's decided to take a leave of absence from the nightly news. And I'm not an NBC guy, and I typically don't watch the 6:30 news anyway. But I know who he is, as I'm sure many of us do. So I'm guessing you've heard the story.
Yeah.
Tell me, what's your thoughts on this, man? Is this a story?
It can be because I think really what happened, it was, the helicopter in front of him, I believe, that went down, but he, was nowhere near. But it was like a helicopter.
Basically, the helicopter in front of him went down, and he showed up in a helicopter.
And
he parked next to the down.
Right. And they like, oh, my helicopter went down. To kind of, make his, thing dramatic. And, I do think it's a big deal because, us, in media, I'm including us as well as Brian Williams, we have a responsibility. And people look to us as far as, not only the integrity of it, but just simply telling the truth. And if I'm looking at you at 6:30, I know, most of it is just facts that you're reading. But if you say that you went down in a helicopter crash in Afghanistan or Iraq, I'm saying, okay, oh, man, he went down. And so years, later, you saying, you lied to me. So I'm like, I'm thinking everything on the news is gonna be a lie now, right? So that's the way I feel about it. So, it is serious, but
Tony, what you think about this? The lead anchor of the nightly news has a story that he has now admitted that he lied about. What do you think?
I cannot think of any job where integrity is not important, and I think especially as a journalist.
Definitely.
You have to have integrity.
Right.
Whether you, don't necessarily agree with, the news that's presented or, the stories that you have to report on, that's one thing. But to lie about events that took place, like you should be working at a fast food joint or something. Because, you know what I'm saying? Because people look to you to know what's going on. People form their opinions of the world based on the news that you bring to them.
Right.
So if you're bringing them falsehoods, then they're going to have these false opinions of what's really going on.
Right.
So I think that he should be terminated.
What's crazy about that? I was watching an episode of Law and Order Special Victims Unit, which I watch
favorite show
often, and I was watching an episode. I think it aired, the newest episode aired last week, and it was about a dentist who was accused of raping his patients, and most notably his niece, as creepy as that sounds. And one of the people, and I don't remember who it was, maybe it was Odafin Tutuola. I'm sure it wasn't him. I just like saying Odafin Tutuola. His name's Odafin, y'all. That ain't funny to you?
Real name is Tutuola.
He's just Ice-T to me. He's just Ice-T to me.
Yeah, Ice-T.
Yeah.
I actually call him Tracy Marrow because that's his real name. You just run up on Ice-T and call him Tracy and see what happens.
I see why he's
he ain't from South Central. Actually, he's from Newark, New Jersey, and our next door is from Newark. So anyway, someone actually said that if this dude really did do this, and he ended up getting a conviction because he was also a consultant on a lot of the crimes that they dealt with in the Special Victims Unit, if he's convicted, like every single thing that he has touched comes into question now.
Yes.
Every case he's consulting on, every single one comes has now come into question. So Jay Wash, I'll ask you your opinion. I'll save my opinion on this for last. Brian Williams, news anchor, lied about something. My personal opinion. I'll tip my hand if I say that next piece. But what do you think?
Here's what I think, and I'm not a conspiracy theorist at all. But
Yeah, you are.
But here's I used to be a big fan of what's my man name to do the Magic, David Copperfield.
Okay.
Oh my goodness, right? Remember he used to come on TV?
Yes.
Y'all remember that?
Yes.
The greatest thing about magic tricks is the trick is the fact that you don't know, right? So and my point is that I think in a lot of ways this has really become about us being entertained. And I think that maybe as a journalist, even though he might have gotten to this is me really spitball. I could be completely off on this. He could just be a narcissist and decided that his story wasn't good enough. But I feel like maybe because we put a lot more weight now on being entertained than more so than getting the facts, that maybe he felt compelled to do this. Maybe he felt compelled, like, listen, you know what? It's not enough that I'm over here in Iraq.
Right.
I have to had almost survived a near-death experience. It's not enough that I'm in a war zone and my life on the line, because that's not enough. Nobody wants to hear that. But what's going to separate me from the rest of these reporters is that I survived a plane crash and I saved these puppies.
Right. Nikki, when I hear a story like this, the first thing that I think about is that's such a little lie. You know what I mean? Like, whether you are in that helicopter or not, it's not worth the lie. Like, if you're gonna lie about something that needs to get lied about.
Right.
It reminds me for our sports fans, it reminds me of Barry Bonds being accused of using steroids, and A-Rod too, for that matter. When you looked at the arc of their careers, they were Hall of Famers prior to the beginning of their alleged drug use. So why do it? Brian Williams was a well-respected. I mean, you don't get to be the anchor of the news. Like, I remember being a kid looking at Walter Cronkite, Ted Koppel and cats like that. Sorry, young folks, dating myself again. But seriously, and so why do it? I mean, Nick, when you see this, what's your opinion about Brian Williams?
He wants the attention. Like, I agree. He wants the attention. It's such a little lie. Why lie? That's what you got to think about. Why lie? I am a conspiracy theorist. I'm gonna be honest.
Yes, he is.
So, I always feel like it's a deeper meaning behind anything that people that's in the public eye that they do. And he wasn't immediately fired. Am I correct?
He hasn't been fired yet.
He hasn't been placed on any type of suspension.
He's on publicly.
He's volunteering.
Publicly, he's on a self-imposed vacation.
So he wasn't suspended. He's volunteering to step down, which means they're not going to fire him more than likely. What they're hoping to do is to boost his ratings and get more people to watch him. While at the same time, kind of get us to not think about him lying so much. You see what I'm saying? Like, what I think he's done. I think he's walked through them doors too. Another time, another show.
Nah, I can do it. I can do it.
And also he put in his book as well that he went down in a helicopter. He wrote a book. He put all that in the book as well.
Timing. It's all about timing. He knew he was going to bring this live.
It's about the money, man. It's what
the money.
We want to be entertained.
But so now we're going to want to read his book. His book about to hit the bestsellers list. Because now everybody want to read the lie. You see what I'm saying? Everybody wants to read the lie. They want to see the lie in print now. So now his book about to sell.
But see, I think it's more dramatic. Like if you walking down the street and say you see somebody getting jumped, okay, it's more dramatic to say, okay, 3 guys jumped me and I beat them down like Bruce Lee. The idea. So it's more dramatic. It's more exciting like that way instead of you coming home and say, I saw some guys got jumped.
Right.
But it's more dramatic if you say, you know what, I beat these 3 guys down, man. I was like Bruce Lee, kicking and flipping and all this type of stuff. That's more dramatic. You can say, oh man, you hit. So
it's just crazy to me because it's one of those things where Joy, she's hitting me up and I agree with her. It's like, why lie about something so crazy?
Yeah.
And you just gotta do better, man. It's like there's situations where You know, if you in that position, you gotta know that they do a whole lot of lying. You gotta know it. I mean, you know, I am a conspiracy theorist. Some folks are a little bit more into it than I am. I think I'm closer to you, Nikki, than I am away from you on a lot of things. And I am a conspiracy theorist, and I have no problem with being one. And I think that, you know, and I just mean this with all due respect, I think conspiracy theorists are amongst the most intelligent people that you'll meet.
Yeah.
Because these are the people that will ask questions that will challenge you, as opposed to going along with the status quo just because you've been told to do so. Just because you look up in the sky and it's blue doesn't mean the sky is blue. And if you do the science and you do the knowledge, you understand why it looks like it's blue, but you know for real that it's not.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so that's how I kind of look at that. You got to look at stuff
That's
with a third
definitely
eye.
one way to look at it.
Look at
Yeah.
it.
But the way I look at it is
with a
that-
third eye.
Nah, I'm
man.
messing. That's fine.
I know you messing with me. It's with your ugly hat wearing self. You got on a cowboy side.
Listen,
Yeah.
man, and every
Ugly
time I
ass
come
hat.
on his show with my cowboy hat, he has to hate. This is a marriage.
But I don't.
man.
But I don't come on your show and say that you got on an
Bad
ugly
man.
hat.
You do. You
know,
just don't say it on
I don't
air.
say it on the air. No,
Yeah.
no. But
But see, that's why he was funny, tricky with the picture. You know, because quarterback.
Yeah.
You can't,
Ooh.
you know,
yeah.
got
So
bad
so we gonna let the listeners into a window where Aaron is talking about. So you know, Aaron Turner, the Aaron Turner show is gonna start here on Legacy Internet Radio on the 28th of February, Saturday from 5 to 7. We signed the contracts. The deal is done. We
Deal
did
is
all of
done.
that tonight. And Jay Wash here came in and
No
helped
doubt.
me out by taking some photographs.
Yeah.
And Jay Wash got to shake your hand, man.
It was
It's-
a Romo-ish
It's very Romo
thing going on.
He had to shake his hand. Hey, look, how many blurry pictures did he take before we got one good one?
I mean,
In
it was a
defense of
Romo-ish.
myself, Marcus
Yeah.
J got this 2010 LG phone. I mean, it's
a Samsung 5.
I think the problem
It's
is
a Samsung
the
5.
problem is in the 2. He got to get his junk checked. The pixels aren't right on it. It wouldn't stay steady. I had to hold my breath to take the picture because it was still shaking and stuff. I don't know.
I'm
what was
looking at
going
your
on with
phone and I'm looking at
Right.
my phone,
Uh-huh.
and yours looks like a Samsung like 3 or 4.
Nah, it's a 4.
It's a 4. I mean, your phone's a whole
Something's wrong with his
generation
phone.
behind
I think he
you.
had it on the wrong mode or something. Like he had it on video mode, but he wanted me to take pictures or something. You know what I mean? Something was off about
you
it.
do.
Yeah.
Joy is agreeing with me.
The
She
lighting
said
won't
boo.
right in the room
Joy
or
said
something.
boo to the Cowboys. We getting a hit from our longtime listener, our sister. Michelle K is listening. Everybody say peace, Michelle
up,
K.
Michelle? What's up, Michelle K?
is checking us out. Thank you. Last thing I want to get to before we go in and take a break. On the other side of the break, we're gonna talk some more serious stuff. The first two things are relatively serious. One affects a lot of the children in our country right now. The other one that's kind of serious is some comments that were made by our president. Another story we'll get into on the other side is a legal maneuver that was made in one of our states, and a New York sports owner says some really dumb stuff that we got to talk about. But this last story in this particular segment that we're going to talk about is Newark, New Jersey. My hometown of Jersey City is a stone's throw from Newark, New Jersey. Their mayor, Ras Baraka, many know his dad, Amiri Baraka, who's a poet and artist from many years ago, who we unfortunately lost recently. His son, Ras Baraka, is the mayor of Newark, New Jersey. And other city officials, along with him, announced on Monday the city will sell municipally owned vacant lots in 2 model neighborhood initiative areas for $1,000 to couples seeking to construct new homes. This is big, y'all. We are, quote, we are observing Valentine's Day with creativity and a commitment to Newark's couples by offering them opportunities to achieve their American dream of home ownership, he said. At the same time, we are turning vacant lots into homes that strengthen our communities, replacing blight with development. The Valentine's Land Sale Day is first come, first served from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. and will take place at Newark City Hall on Saturday, February 14th, also known as Valentine's Day. Couples who purchase a lot will be required to make $500 down payment, pay the additional $500 at closing. Buyers will have to submit a city planning board approved site plan to close on the property and complete construction within 18 months of closing. Out of the box steps like these are how we will transform Newark into a city we can all believe in, Mayor said. The lots are available for purchase for any couple, regardless of sexual orientation, and from anywhere inside the United States, not just in Newark. Tony, we think about this. The May, I'm getting this from New York, CBSLocal.com. This sounds like a big deal to me. What do you think?
That's phenomenal.
Yeah.
That's absolutely phenomenal. And it makes you think, wow, if they can do it there, wonder where else could people do something like that. We look at our beautiful city of Richmond and how much of it is unused and run down and have empty, vacant lots, which I heard recently they're going to start going around, and I think it was like a news story or something recently where they were like going around kind of like, putting people on blast, like, look at this property here. It's not being cared for, and like giving people a timeline to actually, do something with the property, fix it up, maintain it. So I think that's great. And again, I think maybe that'll kind of spark something, in the rest of the country.
I think that's big. Nikki, I think it's huge. What do you think?
Oh, I completely agree. I saw it on Facebook. That's where I get most of my news from. So I know you went to CBS.com, but I saw it on Facebook. Shout out to Facebook. But I think it's an excellent idea. I guess my fear is we as a people. I fear not too many of us are going to take opportunity. We're not going to jump on it. I don't know whether it's we don't understand how big this is, or we just don't care how big this is. We like our apartment living, or are we still like living with our mom? We still want to stay in our grandma basement.
Because of Pete.
I don't know.
Right.
But that's my biggest fear, that we're not going to take advantage of this.
The way we
like
should.
I am, when I first read, and I read it earlier today, in my mind, I'm like, I wonder if I could just buy up a whole block and, turn it into some rental properties. That's how I think when I read stuff like that. But, like I said, that's my fear, that we're not going to take advantage of it. And who is? White folks see this.
Yeah.
It's a wrap.
It's a wrap.
It's already a wrap.
It's crazy.
Wrap.
One of the things that I think a lot of people may not have paid much attention to, Jay Wash, here in Newark, New Jersey, that the property is $1,000, but you got to have a plan to build. So you do need to.
Yeah, well, we got cabinets.
You got to come up with more than $1,000, or at least have some sort of plan to get your house or your property. I mean, and nothing says you got to build a house.
Yeah.
Nothing in an article that I heard says you
Right.
got to build a house unless I
Right.
missed something. So if you want to buy, build a store that will produce
Yeah.
revenue and jobs, it's a lot that can happen here. Josh, what do you think about this, man?
I agree with Nick a little bit. Whereas we're not, I'm more concerned about us, and I say us, I mean people who are from at-risk communities. You know what I mean? Who, being able to take advantage of this. But I think most of it is because one thing I always go back to is the definition of success is when preparation meets opportunity. How many of us are actually prepared for this opportunity? Yeah, like you said, we're saying $1,000, but then it's having to have a plan up front, and then because I look at myself and the situation that I've been in there, whereas I make more money now, but my credit. You know what I mean? If you don't get that credit straight, and they don't tell you that in high school. I went through my entire life. It wasn't until I became an adult that someone was able to tell me how important it is to have exceptional credit. Not even great credit, but exceptional credit, man. And so and because of that, man, a lot of things that I thought that I make a certain amount of money, I'd be able to afford or to experience. It's complicated, man. You don't. So and that's what I mean when I'm saying I don't know if we're prepared for that. I don't know if we'll
agree with that.
Right? You say you do?
I do.
We agreeing?
Yeah, we agreeing.
That's what I'm talking
Even
about.
though you got that Cowboys head
You
on.
don't like that?
Yeah.
No, I don't.
It's
But-
either like it or love it. I mean,
Joy doesn't like it either. Joy said boo.
really to the Cowboys?
Yeah, she thinks you're tripping.
But actually, a segue to the Aaron Turner show, which starting on February 28th, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Eastern time. I had to
5
get all that out.
CP.
5 p.m. to 7 Eastern. We will, that's some of the stuff that we do talk about, and we will talk about, credit and home ownership and, different things like that. We definitely gonna have people to talk about that, and that's one thing I think in our community that we do not stress at all is credit and home ownership. And just like Nikki said, we're satisfied living in an apartment for 20, 30 years. We're satisfied living in 3 generations of living in the projects. We're satisfied.
Yeah.
So
I don't think we take opportunity as serious as we should, because I think a lot of times we expect it to always come with a caveat.
Yeah.
And I think that we don't do the research and the knowledge strongly enough to make a informed decision about the decisions that we need to make. And so it's easier, and I think Jay Wash said something about this earlier, it's easier oftentimes to just say, nah, they tripping, I ain't getting into that.
Right.
It must be, it must be a scam. And I think a lot of times that idea that it must be a scam comes from the laziness of not wanting to do the work to investigate whether it is a scam. Ain't No How Steppin with Marcus J, live from the Den. Legacy Internet Radio. At this time of the show, we always profile a missing and/or exploited child. This week is no different. This week's missing child is Laniqua Collins. Laniqua Collins has been missing since over the weekend, February 7th, 2015, right here from RVA, the capital city of Virginia. 15 years old, black female with brown eyes and brown hair. She stands 5'4" and weighs 115 pounds. Once again, she was last seen on February 7th wearing a black jacket, light colored blue jeans, and white sneakers. If you have seen Laniqua Collins, please contact the National Center for Missing and/or Exploited Children on their website, missingkids.com, or you can contact the Richmond City Police Department at 804-646-5125. The missing child hotline is 1-800-THE-LOST, 1-800-843-5678. Let's bring Laniqua home, y'all. Laniqua Collins,
Definitely.
missing female here in Cap City. Going to take another break. When we come back, going to talk some more. I got Miss Tony, I got Jay Wash, I got Nikki B, and I got the host of the Aaron Turner Show, Aaron Turner, here with me. Ain't No How Steppin, Marcus J. Be back in a few minutes.